welcome to Taboo Chronicles. I have a guest here tonight. My co host Jackie will not be here tonight, so we're going to miss her. But I do have someone, and I have some more ladies that I'm hoping are going to drop in and visit with us. And I'm going to let her introduce herself. Miss Elaine, you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, yes. My name's Elaine Tatum. I'm one of the contributing authors in Gumbo for the Black Woman's Soul. And I'm here to support my sister, Roberta, who is also a contributing author. And I just wanted to be here to share with whatever kind of conversation that comes up. And I'm trying to learn how to
Well,
do some public
now
speaking.
now this book that Elaine and Miss Elaine has brought up is called Gumbo for the Black Woman's Soul, and it's called it's Stories of Resilience, Triumph, and Power of Sisterhood. So this is the book, and what I'm going to say is that this book is absolutely our producer, publisher, she said it was fire, right? I got it in the mail and I read it, and I'm telling you, each time everything I read, my it just had me breath taken, right? And with taking talking to each lady about what they contributed, so that's why I invited all the ladies, and I'm hoping they're just going to be showing up here shortly. But everybody lives in different parts of the world. We have some in the islands, we have some one in Hawaii, and then we have some down south. So everybody's a little scrambled. Miss Elaine is joining me from, isn't it New York?
No, I was born in New York, but I'm in South Carolina now.
Okay, in South Carolina, and of course I'm here in
I've
Dallas.
been
So
here
we're
about
just about
13 years.
yes. So thank you. So we're about just about everywhere, but this is the book. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. It has let's see, 10 co-authors. It's a small book. It's a good, easy read. But I'm telling you, if you want to hear some testimonies, if you want to hear some resilience, if you need some resilience, if you need some healing, this is you want to start here. You absolutely want to start.
Absolutely.
Now, I invited them to I invited these ladies to both shows, so I'm hoping I do better tomorrow by reminding them today. I just didn't have a good, say, 3, 4 days. I'll tell you that, because we talked about how things come about in our lives and kind of take you off your game a little bit. And I'll say that's what it is. I kind of had some things come up, take me off my game, where I had to kind of stay still a little bit, get my thoughts together, wrap things around what's going on. But I am pretty excited about finishing this. As I was telling the ladies before on one other show that we were on together, that a lot of people don't finish things. So we can say we completed it. So I think that's batting 100 right there. We completed a book. The other part is I brought her on here, and I, like I said, I invited the other ladies, so I'm hoping they come too, so they can share their part. But it's so many things that are taboo in our community that we don't talk about. And Elaine, you want to add anything about that part before we go forward?
Well, I was just talking to a friend yesterday, and matter of fact, even my son, he's an adult, and we talk about how we don't know our family history because so much has been hidden, so we don't even realize sometimes that the habits, the trauma passes on from generation to generation. So sometimes it feels like it's a generational curse, It may not be that, but the point is that it's picked up, and it just keeps moving forward, and it causes delays in our growth. And the Bible talks about how it will go down to 100 generations. You
Yeah.
know, if we don't decide to address it, and history repeats itself over and over and over again. And I realized, I'm the oldest lady on in the anthology, and I saw the girls' stories, and I could identify with so many of their stories, and things don't, it's not that different. It just has a different name.
Yes,
So
right.
when you think about it, it's up to us to make the change. It's up to us to make the change, and that takes a lot of inner. I mean, you got to go inside. You got to address it. You got to accept it. You got to believe it. You got to know that it's true, and stop walking around thinking that you did that. I mean, toxicity in my mind, or dysfunction. I don't think anybody's not had one.
Right.
There's something in your family that was hidden from you, and if you find out about it later, you realize, wow, so this is why I've been doing this.
Right.
So who's going to stop it? Am I going to stop it, or is I'm just going to perpetuate it and let it go further?
That's right.
I
And
spent a lot of time trying to tell the people that were younger than me when I was going through my process, don't wait until you get my age to start fixing it. But they didn't understand what I was saying, so this anthology is telling it all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. I think one thing that I hear you say with that I can tie it into being taboo is secrets. And
Hmm.
we've talked about it before, how secrets kill, and how we're taught to what goes on in our house
Hmm.
stays in our house. And I think we even had one of the writers say that before her mom was telling her, don't go out there telling our business, right? Or
Hmm.
when the situations were happening, she said, don't go out there telling people what's going on in our house, telling our business. So that keeps us unhealthy because we keep it in. And then with trauma, we really don't, because trauma does resurface. It keeps going, and it resurfaces in anxiety. It resurfaces in all kind of things that you may do, and you don't even know why you do it.
Hmm.
As Elaine was saying, and I think she said toxicity, which is now the word, right? Toxic, we used to say dysfunction. So
Hmm.
just and dysfunction could be even like something and it's wrong, and it happens within the family, but you just keep it in the family. You just don't nobody
Hmm.
talk about
Hmm.
it. You just keep it to yourself, and you keep it almost like a secret. And then if
Hmm.
you see it, you don't say nothing about it. You act like it's not there. That's dysfunctional, and it's
Hmm.
toxicity. So, and the most important thing that I think that Elaine has just said is that you can change no matter where, and when, and how you do where you're at in your life. You
Hmm.
know, younger, older. But I can appreciate her saying not to wait to win, Elaine.
Don't wait till you get my age. I'm 73. I'm going to
Oh
be
wow.
74 next week.
You
you
know
know,
what?
I'm going to be 74 next week.
Wait a minute, Mr. Elaine. I thought you were
And I've been
64.
sharing this. I've been sharing this for 40 years, and
Yeah,
I pass it forward to my kids. Please don't wait till you get my age to fix this.
yeah,
I'm seeing it again.
yeah,
I'm seeing it again.
yeah.
So thank you. Thank you. I'm, and I'm wondering to myself, somebody has to stop it. Uh, one thing that kind of, it's like almost a pet peeve is when I hear people say, I've always been this way, you know?
Yeah.
And my thing is, you don't have to stay like that.
Right,
you know,
right. And
you
it's an
really just don't.
excuse. Yeah.
It's
You
a
make it
choice.
an excuse. Yeah. You make it a choice to do what you're doing so you can change.
Hmm.
Um, what is one main taboo with your story that you would say that would be taboo? Something that overall within our community we just couldn't talk about.
Well, that statement about what goes on in the house stays in the house. That was definitely one of the things I put in my story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, the next thing is that when you we spend so much time to keeping it in the family, and we want to keep it away from the kids, and we shelter them a little bit too much. And when we do that, we hide the truth, and then and not realizing that they're smart enough to see this, you know. So
Yeah.
then it's like you're lying to them, and you just can't lie to children. You just
Yeah.
can't lie to children. You can't even lie to yourself, because in the long run, it affects everyone. You think that you're only doing it to yourself, whatever it may be. And I watched my parents. They made a vow to be together no matter what, but that's what was taught from when my mother was a descendant of a slave, and that was taught. What No matter what your husband does, you stay there, you know, and you don't address the issue. You just accept it. And look how much pain it caused down the line. It
Yes.
affected me, it affected my sister, you know, and it almost affected my daughter, but she's seeing me fight. And I fought for her when she was going through some processes. I just kept telling her, kept telling her, it doesn't have to be this way. Love is not supposed to hurt. All these type of things. And finally she heard me. So she's in a much better place than I was at her age. So
Yes.
I believe that like you said, the secrets need to be banished. You just
Yeah.
have to talk about it.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? Even I know you said, well, okay, it's an age gap here, but the truth is, Elaine, I think about it's that song "No Pain, No Gain," and say, "Don't
Hmm.
blame Mr. Charlie. He's just a man, and he's doing the best he can." I think
Hmm.
about that because it's saying still stick with this man no matter what he does. And
Hmm.
a piece of man is better than no man at all. And a lot of people are sticking with that.
The same
Not,
with a woman, because the women do it too.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
men are suffering too.
right,
And
right, right,
it's you
yeah,
know it's just a thing about integrity, honesty, communication.
yeah. And I like you say you teaching the children because really we are. We're teaching the children to be disingenuous, generous, or being unhonest. We're teaching
Hmm.
them that when we lie to them, and uh well, yes, but and we do. Somebody said thank you. But I mean, I love the song, but it does have some type of generational meaning to it, and
Absolutely.
because I've heard people say that, and some, like she said, men and women both can be abusive, but people stick in it because of that.
Hmm.
And a
Hmm.
lot of the book, again, a lot of the book has some testimonies of ladies that were in domestic. violence. I'm a domestic violence survivor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a single parent survivor. So, and I say that, I say a survivor because it takes some juggling to be a single parent and to
Yes,
raise
it is.
children. And we do. And we do have to break generational curses. But like Miss Elaine was saying, all of it's not a curse because guess what?
No, it's not.
We have a choice. Sometimes it's just the education piece that we don't have, that we can have
Mhm.
a choice. I remember when I was married and my husband was very abusive. And I remember my grandparents let me know, you can let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to hear that because it's not,
Absolutely.
go ahead, Elaine.
No, I just said absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, I didn't know any better. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know I could leave him. I really didn't. No matter how much he fought me or how many times he slapped me or how many times he threatened my life, I did not really know, hey, you can leave him. I didn't know I had a say so. I thought, like I just said the song, we'll just work with him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, tomorrow if I don't do this and this, he won't fight me. That's what I thought in my mind.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
mhm,
So we were raised as women. I'm just
yes,
talking about us women. That when
yes,
we make that vow, we gonna stand by it no matter what.
yeah,
Especially if we saw our mothers and our grandmothers do it.
yes,
They didn't tell us some of the stories that they went through, but the point was is that they were there and they stayed there. And so we honored them. They were kind of like mentors for us.
they
And
were.
we thought that if we left, that it would be a big disappointment. We'd be
Yeah,
looked down on and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
finally, you heard someone say to you, wow, you don't have to take this, and obviously she realized she took it and she wanted you to be free because she didn't want you to go through what she went through,
right.
which is a great possibility. I don't know, but
Yeah. Well, you know what? Interested enough, she was with my grandfather, and they had been together because they had 4 children together. But she told me she was married before him,
oh,
and she had some stepchildren, and he would go and gamble the money away,
mm,
come home drunk, and act a fool. And she
mm-hmm.
said, I just decided I didn't want him, and I left with my sisters. And she said, so it's okay. But if she had not shared that with me, I would never known, because she's like a role model. So I wouldn't have known, oh,
Come on
wow,
now.
wow, you went through this, mama. So once she told me, I was like, okay. And then my grandfather was like, you can go ahead and go. You can leave him. And then, like you said, he told me, he said, a bad man can ruin a good woman.
Mm-hmm.
A bad woman can ruin a good man.
Absolutely.
You see, so he said it could go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's very true. It's a vicious cycle that we live all our lives. You see a person that's been burnt, like you said, you went through physical abuse and domestic violence. And had you not decided to allow yourself to heal instead of like some people, they'll just jump into another relationship with all of that baggage and they pass on all of that anger, bitterness, and stuff to a person that may have healed, had decided to heal. So this person is ready for a really good relationship, and they get that person that's all damaged, and that person then messes them up. So
yes,
then they're angry, and they move on to a person that's healed, and they're putting that mess on them. So
yeah,
at some point, when do you stop? When all you have to do is just take the time to heal, or at
yeah,
least get to a place where you can communicate your fears to the person to see if they want to work with you with that. Because they have a choice too. We all going through something,
That's right.
and
That's right.
it's not fair to not give a person a choice.
That's right. Um, I'm gonna take time now again to share with our audience. It's called let's see if I can get this in the middle here. It's called Gumbo for the Black Woman's Soul. You have 10 magnificent co-authors. It's a book about resilience. I believe me, this book will have you in awe. It had me in awe. I met with these ladies 6 months, first 6 months of this year before the book was finalized, and I had no idea this book would be this powerful. And I do have the one of the co-authors, Miss Elaine, with me tonight, so I'm excited. You could either Google the book or you can inbox me and you can cash out me. Uh, either one is fine with me. The ones that are ordering for me, I do have a pamphlet that I also wrote with the book as well. So
Mhm.
you actually get a workbook with it.
Yeah,
And Miss Elaine, I let them you share how they can get if they want your book. Because guess what, you guys, the whole thing is you can pick which author you want, and it gets that picture, their picture on the front. So I don't
yeah.
know. Somebody said you sound like Maya Angelou, so you might be on to something, Miss Elaine. I don't know now.
I put in my story that the one thing that kept me, even in all the midst of my craziness, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with it, was remembering her poem, Still I Rise, you know? And I don't even know the whole poem by heart, but there was just little pieces that would come to me just when I needed it so I could get back up, you know?
Yeah,
And after being my self-esteem being broken, you know, and I just didn't know what to do, which way to go, of being making myself a victim, when really I didn't even realize that sometimes I had a choice. I didn't have to be one, you know.
yeah,
So, uh, but every time I heard "Still I Rise," I had to come out of that victim mentality.
yes,
Know that
yes,
I have a choice and I can get there.
yes. No, because I did notice someone was saying, they said that, rather than coming, with slavery and operating in like we were in slavery, to start working into integrity, our
Hmm.
morals, our value systems, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I think the whole thing, you have to realize you can do that. A lot of people don't know they can do it.
Hmm.
I think that's the whole thing of it. Miss Elaine?
Yes, yeah, but you get ingrained in it. You get stuck in your comfort zone. You don't realize that you have a choice.
Yeah.
You just don't. You be in it so long that even the person that used to have the resilience and the strength to fight back, at some point it just seems like I just can't win.
Yeah.
You know, and so then you kind of self sabotage yourself. You just keep going deeper and deeper into the hole.
Yeah.
In my story, I talk about a suicide attempt, you know, and we only have 1,500 words, but I could say a whole lot about it, you know. But one thing I do know is that I laid down there for 5 days, and my girlfriend, who had a key to my home, came into my home, and she found me, and I was mad because I was still here. But then I
Yes.
knew that there was a God that knew that He did not want me to go. and he had something for me. And so
Yes.
here I am.
Yes. Yes.
That was 60 years ago.
Yes. So now I'm going to go back to it to say this book is fire. If you have any
Yes, it
any
is.
if you have a group of ladies who are needing to conquer some things, identify some things, want to identify with some women who are speaking real life and things like Mr. Lane said, hey, suicide, some things that we don't talk about, but we need to because it's been in the back of your mind. Uh, this book is excellent. Uh, and the thing about it is, right now, more Black women are committing suicide. I've said it over and over
Absolutely.
over this last year. It's something that's in my heart that we help each other and see what we need because we weren't there before. Before COVID, we were not committing suicide at the rates we are now. So, and we need each other. We need each other to heal, to help each other heal. You know,
Yes,
one
we
thing
do.
we found with this process of writing this book that we did need each other. You know, we're all 10, like I said, 10 strangers. But at the end of the day, we figured out we needed each other. I even we talked about the gumbo, and we talked about we did talk about doing a book signing and even some type of program. You know,
Yes,
we talked about that. So we still try to figure it out, but we have talked about it because I'm believing this book is so real. This is it's not a pretend. It's not a pretend. It's not a bunch of flowers. It's not a bunch of things that's gonna make you just feel really good. I'm gonna tell you that. It's gonna be some things that's gonna make you say, "Wow." And then it's going to be some things that's going to make you reflect like wow, like she said, oh wow, it is a God. He brought this one through, he could bring me through. And if she could be so genuine, I can too. You know, we have ladies that are business owners. That's why I wish they would have showed up today. We got business owners. We have ladies that are phenomenal. Miss Elaine is phenomenal. Phenomenal. We have ladies that are pouring their souls out, and basically, it's just to help other women. That's all the women, and
yes.
because and another thing with the suicide, um, our community don't like to talk about it. Did you know that, Elaine?
I know they're afraid to admit that type of thing. But
They wouldn't.
I went to Washington and took a class about suicide, and got certified about suicide prevention. And honestly, there are more men committing suicide than women. And
Yes,
our young people are committing suicide at a very young age, from like 8 to 14.
yes.
They are, they are, it's just, the numbers are just off the chart.
Hmm.
Um, I just, it just breaks my heart that we're not aware of that kind of thing. That's why, like this boy that just went to the school and shot up the school, and every so often you see this. There's trauma in the house. How could, if you live in the house with a child and you don't see the trouble,
Yeah.
that means you don't know your child. So at some point, each child is different. You might have 100 children. Each child is different. Your real assignment is to raise that child up in the way to go.
Hmm.
And children do what they see their parents do. When you hear a prejudiced statement, it's because they heard it at home, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So suicide is always hidden because nobody wants to, in the family, wants to admit that somebody did that or tried to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
But
and
it's
and what I'm, yeah, and mainly the people of color, Black, Hispanic.
mm-hmm,
I notice with us,
mm-hmm,
it is just something we really rarely will even acknowledge, and
mm-hmm,
that oh, such and such attempted suicide. We will not. That's
mm-hmm.
the last thing we'll say. Um,
Absolutely.
and so it's really hurtful, because the other thing about it is that it is proven also that through association, right,
Mm-hmm.
that may higher your risk. So that's why during
Absolutely.
an assessment, you know, in one of my hats, during the assessment, I'll ask you, did someone, some kin to you, close relative or friend, commit suicide? Because
Mm-hmm.
that lets me know to watch you, because that may be a heighten for you, a trigger for you as well. So
Absolutely.
we have to be aware of that. But some reason we don't like to talk. That's a taboo topic for us,
Yes,
and
it is. It's
it's
a frightening topic.
which one?
It's frightening. It's frightening. It
Yeah,
definitely is.
yeah. But how do you address something that's frightening? What would you
Yeah,
say?
the first off, I mean, the Bible says that God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind. But when you're disturbed, you don't even know what's going on. You don't know that you're afraid. You don't know what your issue is. You don't know why you feel the way you do. You become this victim, and you have a distorted thinking.
Hmm.
Um, in my mind, you have to be able to have somebody around you that will listen without judgment. You know, that's and people are afraid to go to a therapist because they think that makes them think that they're crazy, and it's not true. Um, and they're afraid to get help, and they carry it all inside, and it becomes much larger than it has to be.
Yeah,
But if we pay attention and we love each other like we like I think we can,
yeah,
um, we can see a disturbance in somebody. We can feel it, we can feel the energy, and even if it's just a hug or a kiss or how you doing today, sometimes
yeah,
that'll turn a person around from doing
yeah,
something as dangerous as that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's not about yourself only. It is about somebody else. We are all one.
I like that. Actually, I love that. I believe that as well. I believe that, you have to be turn blind eyes on certain things.
Hmm.
Uh, it's got to be something wrong with you. You,
Hmm.
you, because how can you switch off like that? That's one thing I always wonder. How can you switch off like that? If this is a reality, how can you switch off? And not just for the people that live in the home with individuals, but just people, because some people, that's just how they deal with things, being in
Hmm.
denial. So sometimes they just deny that things are going on. Uh,
Hmm.
but you said something about sabotage. What is sabotage? If you can explain it to the audience, because I think a lot of people. I know I've done that before myself. So.
Absolutely. Keep doing the same thing over and over again and not learning the lessons. So, I mean, you sabotage yourself. If you don't learn the lessons, you you just keep putting yourself in that same hole, and you go deeper and deeper into it. That
Yeah.
sabotage to me, for me, was not not fighting back, not making boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Accepting things as they were, like it was supposed to be like that, not realizing I had a choice.
Yeah.
So not not stepping up to the plate for Elaine um, was self sabotage.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting because that means it shows up in different ways, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah. Because I sometimes procrastinate, right? And so that's
absolutely.
my sabotaging, my self sabotaging ways right there.
Mm-hmm.
Procrastination is a way you self sabotage. But you
Mm-hmm.
said it's not speaking up for yourself. And is that like knowing? Because after that, you knew you were supposed to speak up for yourself. Is that what I'm
Mm-hmm.
hearing you say?
Yeah, well, I was always able to see people mishandle me, but I call myself loving my neighbor as I would want to love myself. So I'm trying to love what I used to say, love the hell out of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I let you do these things and at my own expense.
Wow.
So that was self sabotage for me, you know?
Yeah.
3/4 of the time, the more you let them do, the more ignorant they think you are, the more they just keep going.
They
And
do.
3/4 of the time, once I finally had enough, and then because I don't like to tell you what I did for you,
Yeah.
but then when I've had enough, I'm going to break it down. Oh, I didn't know you knew that. I didn't know you knew that. I
Yeah.
wasn't just letting you do that. I just was
Right.
trying to love the hell out of you.
I like that. Just like because I knew you was full of it. Right. I knew you were full of it. Now, Miss Elaine, do you have any favorite part of your part of the book?
Getting out. Getting out. Getting
Okay.
out.
Oh,
Getting out. Getting to a place where, I've always known that I could do this, but I always felt like I had to do it with someone.
mm-hmm.
I always thought that a partner was important to get there, not realizing that I can't give anybody some unwhole person. How can they even grow with that? So I had to learn to love myself, and just this process of writing, of
Mm-hmm.
doing inner my meditation, um,
Mm-hmm.
affirmations, reading the Bible, reading books, going to, uh, I mean, just cut shutting down from the world.
Mm-hmm.
Taking my time to heal, and being determined to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That
I
was
like.
that was my breakthrough, and that was my thing. That's why I was so excited to get in this book.
And you know what? I'm excited for you. I'm so glad that you did get in this book. I think that everything happens by design. So I
Mhm.
think that we're all like already, it's already in motion and we
Mhm.
just have to walk into that motion. So I'm glad that you were a part of it. I remember you saying that you feel like, well, people really don't want to hear me, but we really do need the knowledge of people who've already walked, you know, because we're on a journey, so we need to know how to get where you're at.
Well, just keep living.
Well,
Just
so
keep
we gotta
living.
know that. We gotta know because a
Yeah,
lot.
just keep living, and keep your eyes open. Just keep living, and realize that it is a journey.
Yes, yes. And then you mentioned the joy that you had when you got your order in. Do you have one of your books by you?
Um, it's not far away. If you just give me a second, I'll bring it.
Okay, because I would like to you to share your cover so they can see how they're custom. The covers are customized. So she's gonna be back with us, guys. Um, and we're talking about the book, The Gumbo for the Black Woman's Soul. And we have it on Taboo Chronicles because we are talking about some pretty
Crossed
sketchy
my
stuff,
mind.
domestic
It
abuse.
didn't cross my mind to bring a
Uh,
book in,
I can
but
never
here it
get.
is.
Oh, here we go. There it is. All right. Now I want you to see Elaine's. Elaine, hold it up there. Isn't that beautiful? There you go, Elaine. And that is beautiful. So basically, which author you order from, it will have that person on the main book. And if you order this one is going to be the one that you can get offline, but I mean online generally. But each one is customized for that author. So that was her beautiful cover. I don't have my beautiful cover yet. So the people that have ordered from me, I really appreciate your order. And I'm waiting on mine to come in so I can show you how beautiful mine is. But Elaine's is phenomenal. It's so beautiful.
Um,
And go ahead, Miss Elaine.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, share how you said you felt when you seen it.
I cried. I cried. I really, really cried because I've been writing this my little portion. I was trying to write a whole book because I've had such a checkered life. And I this here is down to like 1,500 words, but I've been trying to write this book for 15 years or maybe 20 years, at least this portion, So just to get this out was just it was amazing to me, and it still is. It's moved me to a new place in my life. I can't even begin to tell you um, how much I left behind just putting this on paper.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And
Um,
yes.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love it, and I was just gonna guarantee the audience again. These ladies went very raw in sharing their stories. They didn't hold anything back. Like I said, you when you read it, you're gonna be like, and you're actually gonna want more. I know you are from each writer because that's how much they gave you. Like she said, it's a small passage. It's an easy read book, but basically, it's some things that took lifetime for individuals to overcome, and some people are still in it because we talked about there is some homelessness, there is some mental illness, there is some substance use, there is some suicide, there is some sexual abuse, there are some sexual assaults. There is a bit of everything, and all of these women have overcame and are resilient. And I mean, it's just awesome. And yes, all the books are the same. They're just uh, they're just different. That's all. So Miss Elaine has hers, and me myself, Roberta has my own. So yes, we all have our own different cover. And I don't know, Elaine, did you make a workbook to go with yours?
Yes, I do have a workbook. My workbook is it's a self-help book.
Oh, okay. So
I do
also,
have a workbook. I do have a workbook. It's a self-help book.
okay. And so
Yes.
she has a self-help book as well. Mine also has one. I specialize in mindfulness. So it's going to be a little different, well, somewhat different
Mhm, mhm,
from
mhm,
mine.
mhm,
So yes, so we did do workbooks. So depending on who you order from, if you order from me, you do get that workbook. You order from Miss Elaine, you get that workbook as well. Although we're sisters in this, so what I will say is, whoever you love or whoever you really like, and hey, if not, you can always get just this one if you're getting it for a group of ladies, and our contact information is included in this book. So if you ever want to say, hey,
mhm,
say your book club, or say you're a domestic violence group, or your suicide surviving group, any type of book group, you can reach out to us. And I'm pretty sure, because it's, Elaine has said she's traveled to Washington D.C. We have another advocate that is a domestic violence and no sexual violence advocate. So
mhm,
we're all over with support. We have one mother who had lost her child previously, not too long ago. So
mhm.
we have a variance of women that are standing like towers in this book, and they have actually been through it. So
Absolutely.
yes, so they are very powerful, and they're willing to share what they have with you. And so I believe that it's going to be, because I like I said, I read it, and when I was reading, I was in awe. Uh, I would find myself.
Roberta, show them the back of the book.
So this is the back of the book with all the ladies that are in it, and we have Dr. Bethune. Her granddaughter is our endorser of the book, the educator, the founder of the
Absolutely.
education system. Her granddaughter is our endorser. And she also attended our little online get together as well. So it's really worth the read.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, what I was asking, is there any favorite part that you would like to read to our audience before we uh, get off our get before we say good night here?
I just love the whole book. I mean, I read everybody's story. My favorite part is I can't even pick one because it's not my story.
Well, let me know one
It's
part of
not
your
my
story.
story.
Yeah,
Huh?
your story. One part of your story that you would like to read.
Hold on a minute. Let me see what I see here.
I know she got it, because if she did cried, and she'd have put her blood, sweat, and tears in it. I know she got her favorite.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't highlighted anything.
Well,
Um,
I'll let
I had to combine 50 years of stuff into um so
I'll
much.
let
So
you 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 can find. I'll let you find a paragraph, but I'll go to one of mine.
yeah, please do that.
Okay. So, what my part of the book is called "The Art of Mindful Rebuilding: Practices for Healing the Mind, Body, and Spirit After Trauma." As I shared, uh, over the years, I have experienced some grief, some domestic violence, some abandonment issues, some things that I had to work on as an adult. And then some things that came up, like I said, with grief. You really never can get ready to say goodbye to someone. Grief is always often something that sticks with you for a while, takes a while to grieve. So with me healing, and as Miss Elaine had spoke of before we came on tonight, was like she said she's glad that she heard that and that she understands that healing is a process. So you're not ever just healed, but you're healing, right? And so I feel like, or I know with grief, that's how I feel. Sometimes I'm okay, and sometimes it just may be one trigger, one thing that may take me right back to that day as far as where I was at with my grief. But within it, I'm going to just go to the right at the end where I talk about forgiving yourself, because I'm like
Yes.
Elaine. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is forgive yourself, even if you had nothing to do with it. A lot of times, the trauma that you've been through had nothing to do with you,
Mm-hmm.
but you put that guilt on yourself, like, I caused this. You know, if it wasn't for me doing something, 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 that would not have happened. But the truth is, it happened because maybe someone did it to you, which were, they may have been violent, they may have been a perpetrator, you know, all kind of things, but it
Mm-hmm.
had nothing to do with you. And you know, so we have a problem with separating it. So talked about self forgiveness. So this is what I
Mm-hmm.
came to. With self forgiveness, a lightness arises, the crippling grip of shame loosens, replaced by a newfound sense of self acceptance. You can begin to see yourself not as a collection of past mistakes, but as a work in progress, capable, learning, and evolving. This newfound freedom fuels your journey of healing, allowing you to move forward with a lighter heart and a brighter future. So basically, allowing you to move forward as you give up some of that shame and guilt that you have and forgive yourself. So now I'm going to ask Miss Elaine, did you find your quote?
And then I found a little something that may help.
All right.
But, um, my 35-year battle with drug addiction added another layer of complexity to my journey. The road of recovery was paved with countless, listen, I got to take these glasses off, with countless obstacles and setbacks, each one threatening to derail my progress. Yet it was through the crucible of addiction that I discovered the depths of my own strength. With each day of sobriety, I proved to myself that I was capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges. On my path to self love, I first had to forgive myself, then the people I had allowed to mishandle me, and accept myself daily, both my strengths and my weaknesses. I took concrete steps to nurture my well being. I listened to affirmations throughout the night, wrote them on sticky notes, and placed them all around the house. I penned love letters to myself and woke up each morning with a smile and a good morning, beautiful. I disciplined myself, created boundaries for myself and others, and navigated my days with intention, fueled with daily meditation, prayer. My focus shifted to making myself happy, and in doing so, I discovered a joy and peace I had never known before.
Love it. I love it.
Anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yes. Yeah. But you know, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of courage. So
Yes.
I really appreciate your story, Miss Elaine. I believe that I know for everyone that's in sobriety, it's said to be 8 times that person still out there that's going to die in it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's another killer. So I'm glad that you are telling your story and that people do find that they are capable of being loved and they can love themselves. There's
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with loving yourself. Uh, I
Giving
love.
yourself first and foremost.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And it does start with forgiveness. Well, um, and is there anything you want to leave the audience before we
Just don't quit.
go?
Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. No matter what it looks like, you still have an opportunity. You're still living. And as long as you're still living, you have a chance. Don't let anybody else tell you what you have to do. This is for you.
Yes.
And
Well,
I love you all. And I hope you have a good day.
well, I really appreciate that. Um, so don't quit. Um, now, before we leave, is there any way? Are you on any social platforms, Miss Elaine, like Facebook or
Uh, I'm working on it.
Okay,
I am
okay,
on Facebook. I everybody's on Facebook, you know that. I'm on LinkedIn. I started there. Um, and I'm not on anything else. You know, I'm pretty shy. I'm kind of laid back.
okay.
Most people could
All right.
today.
You're doing pretty good. So
Um,
we
so
appreciate
I'm on
it.
Facebook.
Okay. And what's the name on
I am.
Facebook if you want them to follow you there?
Um, whew, Myers Elaine.
Okay. All right. And then again, if you want a good read and a good self
Myers
help,
Elaine.
it's minus Elaine. Was that what it was, Miss Elaine? So again, if you want a good self help book, you
Oh,
want to read
it's on Instagram. It's
Instagram as well.
K Roz XF.
Okay. So you see that Miss Elaine's way more cooler than I am because she has. Oh, it's froze again, Miss Elaine.
And Facebook is Myers Elaine.
Okay.
Then can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
On Facebook is Myers Elaine, and on Instagram is KRAXFX. It's just
Okay.
basically pictures. I haven't put in too much about my book yet.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. You did better than me. You got an alias. I don't have an alias, so you did real well. But this is the book. It's a good read. I wouldn't lie to you, to be honest with you. I'm a very honest person. If you know me, you know
It's
I'm very
definitely a good read.
I'm very sincere and honest. So if it wasn't a good read, I'd be like, but it is a good read, and it has excellent testimonies about women that are resilient. Very good read. Hopefully, we can save some lives. That's always a good goal for me. The other part is just enlighten your load, so you figure out some self love, get you some self love, get you some tools. Um, Excellent read. And I'm going to say thank you all for joining us and peace. See you.
Thank you for
Hopefully you
inviting
join
me.
us. Yes, hopefully you'll join us tomorrow night and put it all on red. And I'm Roberta the Tool Lady. And
Thank
thank
you
you,
for inviting me, and you have a
thank
good and
you,
safe
Miss
evening.
Lane. You too. I really appreciate you staying up late for us as well. We love you and love you all. Good night.
I love you too.